Yo, what's going on? It's D-Man. I know I said every Monday and Friday I'll upload a video. That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Here's what happened. So I watch an anime YouTuber named Misty, and his channel basically got obliterated by copyright strikes. And here's the deal. My channel is basically the same format as Misty. So when I saw Misty, I respect his catalog. I respect his talking points. You know what I mean? So for him to get obliterated by copyright strikes, even though he beat them, I had to chill out for a little bit because my format is the same as Misty. So it would be dumb for me to just keep posting videos when he's going through that. But he did beat the copyright strikes via fair use. And so that made me feel a little bit better about posting on his channel. No lie, it was about to just be a gameplay anime channel, but now we could just do everything anime. So with that being said, end of the decade, I want to talk about my favorite anime of the decade. Now this is tough. I'm gonna have about 3 or 4 videos about this decade because some of these shows need to be talked about. I haven't talked about them on the channel and they need to be out there. You need to watch them. So in this video, it'll be my favorite anime of the decade, and then I have underrated anime of the decade coming up too. So be on the lookout for that. So let's go ahead and jump into it because like I said, I have 10 anime that I need to talk about. As always with my top 10s, they're not in any particular order. Number 10 isn't the worst anime on this list. Number 1 isn't the best anime on this list. Actually, it might be, but we'll see. So let's go. Top anime of the decade, in my opinion. First off, we have Nagi no Asukata, and I've talked about this anime a lot, man. This anime came out in 2014. It is 26 episodes. I love this show. When I think about what makes a good anime, this pretty much hits all the points. It has good characters. It has a time skip. It has great animation, especially for the time. It has a good story, and I remember waiting for these episodes to drop, man. Like, this show is that immersive. So let me go over the plot really quick from Wikipedia. Since long ago, human civilization had lived on the ocean floor. However, there were many humans who wanted to live above the surface, and they moved to land, creating a fundamental separation between the two. After the school closes down, 4 14-year-old middle school students from the sea village has to attend school on the surface. What follows is their struggles to adjust to a new environment and the relationships between the sea and land people, while dealing with their own newfound feelings that have just started appearing with the end of their childhood. Now, I know the plot is really vague, and no matter where you look for a synopsis, it's going to seem really vague, but you have to trust me. Just going into this show without expecting anything, it's probably the best thing you could do because you'll be blown away. Like I said, in the very first scene, you'll be grabbed by the animation, and then once the story unfolds, once you realize what's really going on, you will not want to stop watching this show. So it says 26 episodes, but it'll go by so fast. Even though the genre is specified as fantasy and romance, the demographic is still shonen. So that tells you what's going on with this show. It's just everything you want in a good anime, this show has it, in my opinion. So Nagi no Asukata, please watch it, please. This is also an anime that I have a physical copy of. I did not finish my Blu-ray series, but they don't have this out on Blu-ray, so I had to get it on DVD. But it's whatever, man. That just lets you know if I buy it, it's worth it. Simple as that. So let's go ahead and get into the next show. Next up, we actually have Hunter x Hunter 2011. Now, Hunter x Hunter is weird in my opinion. Not the actual show, but the acceptance around it, because Hunter x Hunter has been out via manga. They actually had an anime that ran from 1999 to 2001. So when people weren't talking about it, people never brought it up as one of the greats. I just thought that people weren't rocking with it. But then Hunter x Hunter 2011 came out, they remastered everything and continued the manga, and now it's like you're not an anime fan if you haven't seen it. So it's crazy how Hunter x Hunter took off. Now, I'm not going to talk about this show too much because I'm sure everybody has seen it. You know what I mean? But it's a great Shonen Jump show. And you know how I feel about Shonen Jump. So for me to say that, I mean it, man. It has a good story, good character development, awesome fights. Going back to the character development, man, the Chimera Ant arc, one of the best arcs in Shonen Jump anime. It's just a really good show. So if you like to see fights, if you like to see the Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece type of anime, and you haven't seen Hunter x Hunter, I definitely recommend watching this show. It's a little on the long side, just like Yu Yu Hakusho, and the creator is the same person. You'll have to sit through 148 episodes, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. Togashi, the creator, please come back soon, bro. He kind of left us hanging with Yu Yu. Don't leave us hanging with Hunter x Hunter too, bro. That's gonna hurt. Real talk. Next up, we have Death Parade. Definitely one of my favorite anime of the decade. Just like Nagi no Asukata, I could not wait to fire up a new episode of this show. And like I said, I won't talk about it much because I just got done talking about it in my previous video, but this is an anime you need to watch. It's about the afterlife. It's about people playing a game to determine whether they go to heaven, get reincarnated, or hell, which is a void for all of eternity. Now, the judge of your fate is named Desum, and there's a girl who comes through and Desum is not able to judge her. And she is so intriguing that she stays throughout the whole series. She's a main character, and Desum is just trying to learn everything about her, which is really unnatural in the afterlife. But as Desum is trying to learn about her, we are too, because you lose your memories. We don't know her name. We don't know how she died. We don't know if she's going to heaven or hell, if she did something malicious while she was living. All we know is that she is changing people on the show. So this show is very intriguing. Like, every episode is a cliffhanger. It goes into mental health, and you all know I love it, bro. I love shows that address mental health. So if you haven't seen Death Parade, like I said, this is another one I own on Blu-ray. You need to watch it. It's just so good. So good, man. Everything you want in a good anime, this show has it too. Good music, a good reveal at the end, a good story that has intense moments. My only gripe with this show is that we haven't heard of a season 2, and it's definitely set up for a season 2. So if you haven't watched Death Parade, I definitely recommend it. Next up, we have Kuroko no Basket. Now, I could put a lot of sports anime on this list, like a lot. Honestly, any sports anime, to be honest, but I went with Kuroko no Basket because I'm more of a basketball fan, and we don't have that many good basketball anime. We have 3 good ones: Slam Dunk, Kuroko no Basket, which is the anime I'm talking about right now, and Ahiru no Sora, which just came out. That's a decent anime too for basketball. But Kuroko no Basket, man, 3 seasons in a movie of pure heat. Now, I know a lot of people, they tell me all the time, D-Man, we don't like sports anime. We just like not sports anime, which doesn't make sense to me because, once again, Kuroko no Basket, it has that perfect balance of on the court and off the court issues. The battles they have on the court are insane. They're not even basketball games. They're more of like the Cell games. Like, every basketball move is completely OD, but it's live though, you know what I mean? Like, it's really a battle shonen anime. So if you like Dragon Ball and Naruto because of their move set, you'll like Kuroko no Basket too because of their move set. So it starts off with a middle school team called Teiko Middle School, who were so good that the starting 5 was known as the Generation of Miracles. Now, this starting squad, they're dirty. They don't respect any other player. They're blowing people out by 200 points. But there is one person on their team that they show love to. He's known as the Phantom Six Man, Kuroko, and he's like the Steve Nash of anime. Going into high school, all these people split up. They go to 6 different schools, and Kuroko, the Phantom Six Man, actually links up with a player that came from America named Kagami. Now, Kagami, being from America, he wants to be the best in Japan and win the national title at the Winter Cup. But so does the Generation of Miracles. And that's when the battles start, man. These battles are insane because each Generation of Miracle has their own talent. One of them can just copy all your moves. The other one can shoot with no type of limit to his range. You know, there's a bunch of things going on in this show. And so when I talk about Slam Dunk being influenced by the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, Kuroko no Basket is definitely influenced by this decade of basketball, and they combined that with some Dragon Ball Z type of moves. Like, it's tough. It's a tight show, man. It's crazy. So you'll see people that remind you of Steph Curry. You'll see people that remind you of CP3, Blake Griffin. You know, obviously, this show is just heavily influenced by this decade of superstars in the NBA, and it's tight, man. I love this show. I really do. So if you haven't seen Kuroko no Basket, definitely watch it because it's a great show. Next up, we have the Monogatari series. Ooh, this is going to be tough because it's all over the place. It's kind of like Star Wars in a way. It's like, do you want to watch it in chronological order or the order the show was released? It's one of those, man. But this show is all about demons, and I just don't know how to describe it, because you have this guy in high school who was briefly turned into a vampire. And I feel like because of that, he's attracted to all these different girls with different oddities, not in a harem romance type of way, but in a freaky demon type of way. But he ends up befriending most of them as he tries to solve not only his own problems, but their problems too. But this doesn't, like, it sounds like a happy anime. People are getting killed, decapitated. Like, these girls with these oddities, they are no joke at all, bro. Like, the show is just dope. And it's also produced by Shaft, and I'm pretty sure you've seen a Shaft anime before, you just don't know it. But just know that they produce heat always, bro. Now, as for episodes and season numbers, it's tough because technically there are 3 seasons, but there's so many like arcs, so many sub arcs. Just know it's going to cost you a little bit of time, but once again, it's worth it. Good animation, they have good action scenes, great characters. Like, my favorite person in the show is known as the Rainy Devil, and she, I just like her because she hoops, but she has a monkey arm that's like mad strong. So I thought that was a pretty dope character. But yeah, man, this anime is weird. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it's fire though. So just dive into it. It made the list. I don't know how to explain it. It's one of those. So just dive into it. You'll love it. I promise you. So jumping into the next show on my list. Oh, we sad now. I thought we were having fun. We have Your Lie in April. Now, obviously Your Lie in April hit me because I play the violin. I like learning instruments. So I was already connected to this show. But this is a romance anime, and the creator made this show to find out how gangster you are. And it turns out a lot of people aren't that gangster, including me, bro. This show, it's a really good show. It's a really good story. It came out in 2014, 22 episodes long. To give you a light synopsis, because I don't want to spoil anything about this show, it's about a boy named Kosei who is a piano prodigy. But one day his mom passed away, and because of that, he has a mental breakdown and he's unable to perform ever again. He can't hear the keys when he plays. It's basically performer's anxiety, which is a real thing. It's a mental health thing. You have the same thing in sports. You have sports anxiety. So he has that with the piano, and because of that, he never wants to play the piano again. And as a prodigy, people will never accept that, ever. So jumping into the future 2 years later, he runs into a girl named Kaori, and she's free-spirited. She's a violinist whose playstyle reflects her personality. And that's already an issue for most people, because when you play the violin, it's supposed to be like textbook. If you play, you know, but Kaori, being a violin player, drags Kosei in to accompany her. And so if you don't know what that is, basically when you see a violin player and they're doing these shows, these performances, they have a piano player to do like a duet type of deal. So Kaori wants Kosei to be that for her. And as you all know, even though Kosei is a prodigy, he doesn't want to play the piano ever again. He feels like he can't play it ever again. You know what I mean? So this anime goes into so much friendship, drama, romance. The ending will shake you. I'm not gonna lie, I was rattled, bro. Like, if you don't feel any type of way at the end of this anime, you don't have a soul, bro, and I don't care. The music in the anime is really good. Very classical music that honestly I forgot about, but it was brought back to my attention. So if you like Beethoven, if you like Chopin, you'll mess with this show for sure. It's a really good romance anime and a really good story in general. So if you need something to watch and you don't want to see people just getting decapitated, throwing hands, if you just want to see people fall in love, man, and have a good time in high school dealing with their music, bro, definitely check out Your Lie in April, because this show is top notch in my opinion. Next up, we have Erased. Erased is definitely one of my favorite anime of the decade. I feel like Erased had a really good story. This is classified under drama, mystery, and thriller, and it definitely is. It came out in 2016. It is 12 episodes. so it isn't long, bro. Even then, it has a live action film, so if you want to watch a movie, you can do that too. It's pretty decent, but overall, man, this show was a roller coaster, bro, a roller coaster. So let me go ahead and give you the plot via Wikipedia. So it's about a young man named Satoru, who is a young man who somehow possesses the ability known as revival, which sends him back in time moments before a life-threatening incident happens. So his purpose is to go back in time to prevent something from happening in the future. It turns out that his mother was murdered in his own home, and because of that, revival kicked in and he's sent back 18 years into the past. So he's a kid now, he's in elementary school. Because of that, this gives him an opportunity to prevent a kidnapping that took the lives of 3 of his childhood friends, 2 classmates, and 1 young girl studying at a different school nearby. And preventing that kidnapping from happening in the past led him to save his mother in the future. Now, you probably think I spoiled you. Oh, Dman, we know he saved the mother now. Like, obviously he's going to do that, but the show isn't revolved around the mother at all, bro. It's actually about a girl named Kayo, who was one of the original victims in the kidnapping. Her life is so important because her life is so messed up. It's so messed up. But because of her, you know, these main characters are able to find the kidnapper, find out who it is, prevent these kidnappings from happening again, and essentially change the future and save his mom's life. So the only thing I don't like about this show is the ending. And nothing crazy happened. You know, people grow up and get married, but man, you know what I mean when you see it, bro. It's kind of crazy, but overall, Erased is a good thriller show. It's a good mystery. Also sci-fi too, because they're time traveling. But overall, it's a good show. If you haven't seen it, definitely check this one out, man. So next up, we have A Place Further Than the Universe. This show came out in 2018, so it's relatively new. Honestly, to me, it was the best anime of 2018. And it's crazy because it's a really simple anime. It's about a girl named Tamaki who wants to make the most out of her youth, but she's too afraid to. So one day she meets a girl named Shirase, and she's a girl who's been saving up to travel to Antarctica where her mother disappeared. Joined by 2 other girls, Hanada and Yuzuki, they join an expedition headed towards the Antarctic. Really simple, right? A group of friends going to Antarctica. You know, sounds fun. It's an adventure type of anime. Only 13 episodes. But man, something about this anime that's really fun to watch. It's so fun to watch. There are funny moments. There's empowering moments. It's a big adventure. You know, these characters have really good personalities. It's just a really fun anime to watch. One of the funnest anime of this decade, in my opinion. So the studio, it was developed by Madhouse, and you know Madhouse, they do a pretty good job with their shows, and it's also licensed by Crunchyroll, so you already know where to peep it at. Shout out to Crunchyroll. Like I said, there's only 13 episodes. It's short. It may not be your cup of tea, but if you just want to see a good story, good characters, good animation, then definitely check out A Place Further Than the Universe, because this anime is really good. Next up, we have another anime that came out in 2018. 2018 was a pretty good year for anime. Not as good as 2019, but 2018 was still pretty good. We have an anime called The World in Colors, and this takes place in the year 2078. So it's a little bit in the future, but it's about a girl named Hitomi, who's a part of a family of witches. Not only has she lost the people that she treasured, but she also lost her sense of colors. And that really goes hand in hand in this show. So to figure out what happened there, definitely watch it. But the show starts when her grandmother, Kohaku, sends her 60 years into the past, which is 2018 in this show, to meet her 17-year-old self. So you have Hitomi meeting her 17-year-old grandmother, Kohaku, in the year 2018. Now this is really good because Hitomi can learn so much. When she goes to the past, she learns about magic because she's a person that doesn't want to do magic. She doesn't necessarily want to be a witch. But once again, this is one of those mental health shows in the sense that in her time, she doesn't want to let people in. You know, she's lost people and she doesn't want that to happen again. So when she goes to the past, she learns the meaning of friendship. She learns the meaning of love. Therefore, she's able to get a hold of herself. And so this is really a slice of life growing anime. You know, the adventures she has in the past, they're just fun. You know, they teach you how to let people in and just how to grow mentally. And so you all know me, like any anime dealing with mental health, I'ma automatically like it. And not only that, but this show reminds me of what anime really is. You know, that Studio Ghibli type of vibe. It lets you go to another world, even though it's the same world, just a different time. But it feels like you're going to another world and you're really rooting for the main character. You know, you want her to get better, basically. So would I say this is a top anime of the decade? Of course not, but it is definitely one of my favorites, like by far. So definitely check this out if you're into this type of anime. Like I said, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's still good. So before we get into my last one, which is for me my number one, easy, I'm gonna go over some honorable mentions because I know people are already upset. You Shonen fans mad, huh? I already know, but man, I have to give a shout out to a few series that just did a lot for the anime culture. You know, a lot of people got into anime this decade, and it's good to see. So of course I want to give a shout out to Demon Slayer, a really good Shonen Jump anime, really good animation. I'm looking forward to that story for sure. One Punch Man, it was a gag anime and I wasn't into it as much as everybody else, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good show. So I respect One Punch Man. I also want to give a shout out to Mob Psycho, a really good anime. It proved that art style doesn't determine the quality of an anime, but the animation was still good though. There is a difference. So shout out to that. You know, shout out to Mob Psycho. I also want to give a shout out to some sports anime like Haiku, the sports anime in general, bro. Like I said, any sports anime, they're slept on, and I'm not sure why. So definitely check out sports anime in general. Rascal Girl Does Not Dream of Bunny Senpai, which is really like a PG Monogatari. So definitely watch that. Look, I could go on and on. You know, I watched pretty much every anime that came out. There are a bunch of good ones, but I don't want this video to be too long. So just know if I forgot it, I really didn't forget it. You know, it just doesn't fit on my list personally. But number one for me, best anime of the decade, Carol and Tuesday, man. Carol and Tuesday came out this year. It is 2020. It came out last year, 2019. Crazy, man. It came out in 2019. I've talked about it before, so I probably won't talk about it that much. But this anime is a classic. Anime of the year. Yes, I have this anime of the year over Demon Slayer, mainly because this anime is already top 3 in its genre, which is the musical genre. It's already top 3. You know what I mean? So I've talked about this show before. I'll talk about it again. It's about two girls named Carol and Tuesday. It's a sci-fi anime. It takes place on Mars, actually. And in the world of artificial intelligence, doing all the music, they want to be natural singers in their world. So that's already tough. It's already a challenge. But man, when I tell you the music is so good in this show, I'm talking about they have Flying Lotus. I'm talking about they have Thundercat in anime. Look, before I get too excited, let me talk about the main characters. Now, the show is named Carol and Tuesday, so you know the characters for the most part. Of course, they have their rivals, but the main characters are so good in this show. So you have Carol, who is really like the melody maker in the group, and her music is so good, man. So good. Once you hear her sing for the first time or play her melody for the first time, straight chills. Her song actress is a singer named Nye Britz, and she makes great music too. But let me tell you what tripped me out. Nye Britz is from New York. You know, the actual song actress is from New York. And when you're watching the intro to this anime, you'll see that the setting is very New Yorkish. I mean, her character is wearing Timbs. The area looks very New Yorkish. I'm not talking about Manhattan. I'm talking about real New York. But the area is very New Yorkish. So a nod to Nye Britz like that, that's tough. So you have Carol, a person of color who looks normal in anime, which I already respect. She's the melody maker with her piano. And then you have Tuesday, who's really the lyricist, and she plays guitar. So they come together and make this group, and they make incredible music. Like, I'm about to buy their soundtrack, bro. I need it. The music is that good. The animation is that good. The story, the rivals, that good. Like I said, Flying Lotus and Thundercat in anime, like, come on, bro. They have straight bops in this show, bro. And I never say bops, ever. But this show is that good, bro. They took their time with this one. That's why I say, like, this show, anime of the year, anime of 2019, my anime of the decade, personally. So, Carolyn Tuesday, I knew it was going to be good before it came out. I knew it. And I'm so glad that it exceeded my expectations. So, if you haven't seen any other anime on this list, definitely check it out. All of them. In the comments below, let me know your anime of the decade. Like I said, this isn't the end-all be-all list. You know, it's just my list. So let me know yours in the comments below. Thank you for watching, by the way, because I talk a lot. This video is about 26 minutes long. So more videos coming to you soon. You all be easy. 2020, we're on this channel heavy. Peace.